It's fine.
Which is the existential issue of our time, and unless you're doing big structural change, you're not doing enough.
That rift is very real, and of course, as you know, I mean that is reflective of the broader rift between the party. Not just on this issue, but we're seeing that between the centrists and the progressives. And the progressives feel very empowered right now, particularly.
Two tower, the one that the blue one.
Oh yeah, there are two towers. Yeah.
Blue green.
Yeah.
In this political season, they went out and knocked doors and helped him and Markey re-elected in Massachusetts, which was a big surprise. And they sort of showed, look, we've got that power, and they publicly pushed Biden, candidate Biden, to really beef up his climate plan and make it more ambitious, which he did. As a result of that pressure, he increased the amount of money he's going to spend. He made his plans more ambitious, and in return, I think a lot of those progressives felt like they held their nose a little bit, but they went out for him. And so, you got to dance with them and bring you. They're saying, all right, we helped get you here, and you said that this was, you made this a central campaign issue. This is what we demand, and this is our writing closet headings. I talked to an operative who's sort of between Biden transition world and the Hill, who said, honestly, we think that the biggest problem, the biggest challenge in getting anything through is not going to be Republicans, and it's going to be the progressive left, because they have these demands. They feel very empowered and emboldened. I think that they sort of feels like they would be prepared to walk or turn against this administration if they tried to make some kind of centrist deal, on modest legislation that wouldn't go as far as they would want, and then that could blow up. That could blow things up. So I think there is a sense of, we want these people. They helped bring us here. We have to play, we have to horse trade and manage expectations, and that's not really how this world operates. And I think that there's definitely
And I think the climate crisis is the priority for our world right now. Everything else falls from that. What I'd like the Biden administration to do is rejoin the Paris Climate Accords, rejoin the world in standing up to the climate crisis, support renewable energy, support regenerative agriculture, and turn our economy into one that...
8253 is the number. Back in a minute. WBEZ is supported by Bridge Bank, a division of Western Alliance Bank, offering flexible financial solutions to entrepreneurs and to the technology and life science communities. Bridge Bank, people, venture wisely. WBEZ is supported by Studio for Chicago, specializing in women's health and pelvic surgery, paired with alternative medicine, acupuncture, and massage. In the South Loop, Lakeview,
That's
and
the
South
park
suburbs.
we walked through, hon, with the ice skating ribbon up there. Maggie Daly Park, where we played miniature golf. That's right there.
Headlines, context, updates, and the top stories from right here at home. Sign up now at wbez.org/newsletter.
This is politics.
Hyper-polarized political landscape. The challenge will be how to get climate change as a priority attached to other things that have to happen. So if a big bill for economic recovery is moving
Where's the
in
museum?
Congress, how do you
those are the museums.
into green infrastructure spending, investments in R&D and clean technologies?
That's the big
renewables,
Buckingham
support
Fountain
for
right there.
batteries, energy storage, that kind of
Fountain
thing.
is closed
You would
for the
expect to see
winter.
the administration attached
That's
to
nice,
a
though.
Famous
legislative
fountain.
package for the economic recovery plan.
They're closed?
Policies that have to basically put regulations back in place. And the problem is the Democrats don't control the Senate and may not after the Georgia election. So what do you do with divided government?
See that
It
planetarium
looks
out on the
harder
end?
than it was even back
Planetarium
then
on
to
the
get a
end.
sweeping climate package out of Congress when you don't control the Senate. And frankly,
Aquarium in the middle.
Democrats did
Oh,
control
great.
the Senate. This is hard to get past because you have some moderate to be smaller steps building up to it. So you get some bipartisan support around, let's say, a smaller policy that's really important that can make a start, like a clean energy standard. You know, the states have renewable portfolio standards, meaning a standard to have a certain share of your electricity come from clean, green sources. Republican states support that policy. You've got a lot of wind in Texas, a lot of wind in Iowa, Congress with some bipartisan support that begins to take steps toward the more sweeping legislation. But I'm not sure right out of the gate you get a bill that has everything in it. You know, you think about that is done, as you pointed out, in a hyper-partisan era. I think that you have to figure out a strategy that will serve different parts of the country differently. You don't have to talk about this as climate policy everywhere. In some states, it would be economic policy. When you talk about moving to renewable power, that can be very attractive in red states, but if it's packaged in a way that doesn't sound right to them, if it's packaged as climate change policy, regulatory power. It's not just Amy Coney Barrett. She's the third of three conservative justices that Trump, of course, saying, well, do you really have legal authority to do that? And there's sort of a judicial philosophy that says agencies shouldn't try to do big new things with old laws on the books. We should really have Congress speak to that again. That's sort of a
Is that the lake we're turning it?
Justices.
That's the river that we were in the kayak on. When you keep coming this direction.
Agencies look for ways to do big things.
Freeman is a law professor at Harvard University, former counselor for energy and climate change in the Obama White House. The takeaway is supported by LifeLock, reminding consumers that they could miss certain threats by only monitoring their credit. Like
From now. That way?
That's right.
We came from that way?
Yeah.
Okay. So go back that way?
Hmm?
Okay.
Why are you driving that lake? Honestly.
Just to keep up with the traffic. Fuck, traffic's going. Keep it flow, because there's cars behind us. Missed the trains. All the trains on.
It didn't see the camera, the train. Oh. There's the train.
100 yards, Epstein 113, 42 to 35. Down in Northwestern, they're getting late in the second quarter at Ryan Field, and the Wildcats are tied with Wisconsin at 7. This could be a game to decide the Big 10 West. It was LSU over Arkansas 27-24. As well, Florida beats Vanderbilt 38-17, and still number 8 BYU 42-7 over North Alabama.
Downtown 14 for the construction. Outbound side, Hoosier Express lanes, you can get them. It's 10 and away to the construction. Joel Harris, 20 minutes, nice clear shot.
Field Museum.
Northbound from Navy Pier,
This
Chicago
one?
Avenue,
That
comes and
one?
goes. Delayed
Field
free
Museum,
on the area
Shed
subways,
Aquarium,
Reynolds, Reagan,
and the
Veterans Memorial,
Planetarium.
Route 53.
Three museums.
This one is Shell.
And as we
This
get
one
into
is
the
Field
end, we won't
Museum.
find any trouble at 80-94.
Soldiers Field Stadium, where the Chicago Bears play their games.
Oh.
Right over there. You should zoom in on that. It's where the Chicago Bears play.
Oh. Okay.
Take a picture of the sign that says Museum Campus. Museum Campus.
Look at that.
And here are the museums. That's the Field Museum, where the dinosaur bones are. That's the Shed Aquarium, where the fish are. All the way on the end, I don't know if you'll be able to see it. It's the planetarium. Yeah, there's the planetarium all the way in the back there.
There.
Planetarium, you see it there?
In there.
Yeah, that's the
That's the yellow thing, something?
It's the planetarium.
Is that the Lewis Tower then or not?
Willis Tower is right over there.
Not that one.
That's Willis Tower. There's Trump Tower. This is the one we can't see from our house. I like that design, don't you?
Yeah.
It's very cool.
I like that color too.
Yeah.
It's nice.
It's Navy Pier. Navy Pier with the Ferris wheel.
What's the name of this building?
I don't know.
Is that a hotel?
They're condos, yeah.
It's cool.
My mother used to live in this one, on the black one.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. Harbor Point.
What's the Navy?
Navy Pier. Look at the view of those buildings. Whatever. But the one behind us, the wavy ones. Back there.
2020.
Early on, everyone was talking about their pivots, and I kind of hated that word.
With the wedding business on hold and the shop on Milwaukee Avenue idle, Boss Bender said she had to do something to pass the time.
I went out and I went houseplant shopping.
And a business idea was
Here
born.
I am. This is my pivot, and I opened up a houseplant store.
It's called Rooted by Pollen. She sells houseplants to homebound. Dick and Elizabeth from American Weathermakers Heating and Cooling.
The night temperatures are going down.